So TX update. Normally, so people who have not gone through formal upgrades or like any sort of pilot training stuff, what ends up happening is there are multiple people in the hopper or multiple classes in the hopper of different people. And what ends up happening, the courses ebb and flow. So you'll have a week where you have almost nothing going on. And then you have weeks where you're like, man, this seems like we could have kind of peanut butter spread this training out. But that's just the way the military kind of trains, because having a bunch of people available. So I am at the point where we are full bore into all the training. And so it went from like 2 events a week to like 3 events a day. So now we're hitting up a lot of the sims. We're getting into the tactical side of the F-15C, which means there are a lot of similarities to Viper tactics. And then there are some departures that get me in trouble rather quickly. So we were, did you guys, for everybody who flew the Viper, I don't know if the 35 has them, the uplooks for like the, the uplook puffers. Did you guys ever use them?
Oh, I did. No, like you would never, for the gimmicks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe in the B course.
Never used it.
Yeah. Like you synced it once, right? Or like calibrated it once.
Yeah. You had to calibrate it like separately. And
never.
So it's in the C model, they use it more. They kind of lean on it more. And maybe it's because I'm at the FTU. And so we train to it, but I'm like, nah, I don't know how, because what I end up doing for everybody who hasn't used it, it's like this little like display that you can kind of just like point at the bad guy if he's in certain places and try to shoot him with an off-bore sight heat-seeking missile. But the problem is when I try to point at the bad guy, I end up stop flying the jet. So then I'm like, go from like 300 knots to like 450 knots as I'm trying to shoot this missile. I'm like, I'm not even fighting BFM. Like, yeah, I should just like pull the point at him. And
right.
So stuff like that. And then one other thing, I was in the sim. I did the standard trainee thing. Drago Walters, he was on the show previously. He says that being a wingman is a qual. Like if you're a flight lead, if you're an IP, you're not a wingman because you don't do the wingman thing. And sure enough, I'm trying to shoot all my missiles and I don't look at my element mate. We're in the sim, luckily, and we get 0.2 nautical miles away from one another while we're at about 40,000 feet. So, which is about like 10 to 12,000 ish feet away from each other, or 10 to 1,200 feet away, or 1,000 to 1,200 feet.
Hard, yeah.
It's the early morning. We're working on the East
Monday
Coast
morning.
times. Yeah, exactly. So, we were rather close. I mean, I could have read his lineup card in the simulator. So that was a rough way to start the sim. But overall, learning new things every day, and expected contact range in even the worst of the Eagle radars is pretty darn nice. So doing that work on the top half of the scope is pretty easy.